I've got some good news and I've got some bad news, and instead of affording you guys the binary choice of picking whatever you want first, mostly because the collection method would take far too long in order to put out this video and do all that rigmarole, I'm going to go ahead, because it's Friday, we are kicking off the weekend, I'm going to go ahead and give you the good news first because, well, frankly, you know what, I'm feeling real good about today. I'm going to go ahead and give you a double shot of good news when it comes to this story, because we have our first look behind the scenes of Rachel Zegler as Snow White. Not any production shots, not any B-roll pickups or anything like that. Nothing off the set where she got her hair up in a bonnet and with a bunch of bobby pins or anything like that. Actual set photos, which is fantastic. And also, double that for fans of comedy that are out there. Rachel Zegler's 15 minutes of fame has just been extrapolated out a little bit further. And because of the absolute lack of anything funny coming out of Hollywood, unironically coming out of Hollywood, it's so good that Rachel Zegler is going to be around for a little bit longer, which ends up dovetailing us into the bad news, which you could already tell by the title of the video that, yes, Snow White, Disney's Snow White, has in fact been delayed until 2025. Oh man, that kind of sucks, but it's not unexpected because the actors are still on strike for as many people that are out there, which this was actually floated by some people that I do respect. And oh my God, for the sake of their intellectual fortitude, I won't name any names or anything like that because it's sad, because I actually do respect them. But no, the announcement that the Daily Wire's production house were going to be making some kind of BoomerCon Snow White vehicle and put it out in 2024 did not affect this decision at all whatsoever. There was still a lot of filming, okay? Reshoots, pickups, a bunch of other stuff, because Disney knows that it's probably not going to be all that good in the form and fashion that it's in right now. I'm sure a lot of the primary shooting's already done. They probably just have a couple of extra things that they need to do, but because everybody's on strike right now, well, they can't really do any sort of pickup, so hitting that original March 2024 release date was just completely and totally off the table, given the fact that, well, haven't heard anything about the actors successfully meeting yesterday or today, so the strike's going to continue into January, which is wild. So yeah, 2025 is a little bit more reasonable. You would imagine that they're probably going to be done by then. Holy, imagine if they aren't. But yeah, disregard Jonathan Majors in a Speedo, like weird marketing that they have for this, but Disney's live action Snow White delays to 2025. Jonathan Majors' magazine dreams pulled off calendar. Well, yeah, because, well, he's currently going through, and I'll probably do a video about this in some form or fashion, but his domestic assault charges are going to trial. It's like, wow, imagine that, a woman makes some accusations and it does end up going to trial in a liberal ass state like New York. Totally makes sense, right? Believe all women, right? It's not like that's never come back to bite everybody in the ass every single goddamn time, but that's another topic for another time. We're focusing in on Snow White right now and all the behind the scenes stuff. Walt Disney Studios has removed Magazine Dreams, a dark drama starring Jonathan Majors, from its release calendars. Oh, that's from Walt Disney. Walt Disney, that's your promo shot. A little bit weird. I thought you guys were getting out of the culture wars, and I guess your pivot from doing all of the socio-political commentary was to just go ahead and go full-on out groomer. Weird pivot, but okay. The studio also delayed the debut of the live-action version of Snow White. It's a blessing and a curse, okay? Because I would love nothing more than this to be good, okay? Contrary to popular belief, if it's good, fantastic. Another generation gets to experience a timeless classic. But let's be realistic, this thing is going to be a smoldering dumpster fire, and if you can't tell by the production pictures that are out there, I got news for you. Your IQ might be so low that you'll actually believe some of the press material that Rachel Zegler has been spouting, saying that it needs to be updated for a modern audience because the story is 85 years old. Well, not the original source material. She doesn't even know. She probably thought the Disney came up with this story. The 1987 version of the film, yeah, the one that's good enough for generations and generations prior to her, because she's a part of that new wave of children, even though she is, 22 years old, 22 or 23. It's like, this is what happens, okay? She is the manifestation of everything wrong with a modern woman. Didn't have a strong male role model growing up, even though her family was together. Let's call it what it is, okay? She's an entitled brat who got everything that she ever wants, thinks that she worked so hard to get all of those opportunities that she definitely didn't deserve foisted upon her. It's that other old saying, she was born on third base and she thinks that she hit a triple. This is what the modern girl has. She is just on the highest level of doing so. But yeah, having to go back to the drawing board because these are the types of photos that you're releasing, bruh, I totally get it. The studio, yes, it will now open on March 21st, 2025. I'll be 35 years, oh my God. Anyways, Snow White, which stars Rachel Zegler as the beautiful princess, citation needed, who has a bad experience with an apple. Oh, okay, cool. That's what, if we're going to do the one-line summation of a film, Snow White is about a movie about a chick who had a bad experience with an apple. Well, I guess that's going to be the live-action adaptation version. I can see why you guys wanted to delay this. And Gal Gadot is the evil queen. She will not be saved by the prince. I'm so happy that she will also continue to be on the press junket, or rather junket. Junket, that's the term I'm looking for, in promoting this stuff as well, because I love airheaded Gal Gadot just as much as I love idiotic, entitled Rachel Zegler. Yeah, even though it was originally slated to debut just about a year earlier, March 22nd, 2024. I'd still be 34 at that time, but no. Let's look under the hood on this one. We'll go with the New York Post on this one there, and it is a little bit more engaging writing than Variety's just press schlop. Disney has debuted a first look image of actress Rachel Zegler in the titular role of the live action reimagining of Snow White. Studio also announced that it pushed back the day to was that the first day of spring? Like, at least, hey man, if you're going to go ahead and specifically pick a date like that, I think that's where it probably lines up. And, the Songbirds were in the original. So yeah, they're just going to pick and choose what they want to take from the original adaptation and then just tell a brand new story off of it. Idiotic. The photo of the 22-year-old West Side Story actress. Oh, you don't want to say she was in Shazam too, guys? Come on. Okay, or the new Hunger Games that's coming out, and I'll have a video on the dumb things that she says about that, because that's why I said, man, at the beginning, I got 2 hits of good news for everybody. She's going to be around saying dumb stuff, and boy, did she say some dumb stuff, but tune in tomorrow for that one. Yeah, this first release, okay, makes a lot of people suspicious. It's like, okay, did you push this back because of the strike? Well, probably big reasons as to why, but now, okay, after all of the hubbub, like they have pointed out here, of Peter Dinklage just going back and saying, dwarves are typecast, and he ended up, kicking the stepladder out from every other little person in Hollywood. Take a step back and look at what they're doing there. The actor said during an interview on Mark Maron's What the Fuck podcast, it makes no sense to me. You're progressive in one way, and you're still making that fucking backwards story about 7 dwarves living in a cave together. No, they got a nice house now, allegedly. What the fuck are you doing, man? Have I done nothing to advance my cause from my soapbox? Well, nobody could hear you, because even though you were on the soapbox, you were still only about 4.5 feet tall. I guess I'm not loud enough. Then you just ended up outsourcing all of the work that dwarves, midgets, kickables were able to get in Hollywood beforehand, and you outsourced it to CGI monstrosities. What the fuck is that? What do you do? No! Oh my God. If you thought that the animals in the live-action adaptation of The Lion King in 2019 were lifeless, the fuck are those? Yo, man, like, Dopey is the creepiest fucking resuscitation of the Mad TV magazine kid I've ever seen in my fucking life. That's the little one with the skull cap and the red there. Is that supposed to be Doc? Because the proportions are all off. It's horrifying. It looks like a spin on that fucking porn meme of the little white girl getting, a glimpse into her future, where the 5 black guys, in this case, 7 dwarves are around her. It's like, why would you release this? Why would you release this still? As hey guys, we're going to go ahead and delay this, but don't worry, we're still working hard on that. Woofda. So yeah, for everybody who is saying that, the Daily Wire got under Disney fucking Disney's craw, and that's why they pushed it back? No, not at all whatsoever. And then there's other people also saying, okay, because you pushed it back a year, is this to just rehab the image of your star? Because she has usurped everybody that you can think of. Brie Larson in her weird interviews in on and around Marvel's Avengers Endgame time. What's her name? Ariana Grande, who is one of the most entitled broads in all of music, getting caught on hot mic at a donut store saying I hate America and all that stuff. It's all in the past at this point in time. Rachel Zegler has just gone into the stratosphere for being the insufferable manifestation of the modern woman, ergo why she's on just about everybody's thumbnails and why everybody is talking about this. No, they're probably going to do a couple of tweaks. Not like what a lot of people are speculating that, oh no, they're going to go ahead and replace, all of those B-roll footages and those landscape shots that they were doing with Snow White that actually looked better than Rachel Zegler, which isn't necessarily a high bar. Like, you've got a 4 with the insufferable personality of an entitled 9. Meanwhile, you had, the day worker that was wearing the Snow White gimmick. And she was looking, not that bad, but you had those 7 Portland baristas just waddling around in the background. They're still supposed to be, from people in the know when it comes to making this film, they're also supposed to be in the film as well, because the lead bandit, or whatever the hell they're going to end up calling them, is supposed to be the analogy for Prince Eric, but the love interest of Snow White, but not quite the love interest, because she doesn't need to be saved by anybody, because she's going to be going on the hero's journey throughout this insufferable film, that she's great. She finds out that she's actually even more great because a bunch of straight white males were actually holding her back. So then in the end, when she ultimately defeats the queen, she just was great the entire time and only became a greater when she cast off the shackles of the patriarchy. Like, we already know how the story is going to end up going, right? But no, maybe they're going to be listening to feedback. It's Disney. Just go with me for a second. We're already talking about a fairy tale movie. We might as well, live in a fairy tale news cycle. They'll listen to the outrage that, came out, to the wide landscape shots. And it's like, what the fuck are you guys doing out here with this beloved classic? This is the film that launched your entire studio. Maybe you should give it, a second glance look and, tighten things up a little bit, do a little bit of extra work on this to make sure that it's not the disaster that was The Little Mermaid and Mulan before that. But there's also speculation, given the fact that it got kicked down the road an additional year. Are they going to can it at all? If they can't end up resuscitating Rachel Zegler's persona, which I think it's pretty possible. You got yourself a year, and then you also have a malleable 22-year-old where you can just go ahead and smack the feminism out of her hyperbolically. Don't actually do that, of course. Because who knows what Disney's going to look like. Like, 2023 was, you'd have to go back through history. I know that there were some dark times in the late 70s, early 80s prior to the Renaissance, but I don't think that 2023 is going to be looked on fondly, and it might end up being their least successful year in their entire 100-year history. Oh yeah, they're going to have to be going back to the drawing board in order to win back any goodwill with the public, but also thanks to what South Park just did, which I'll be talking about them very shortly, and I don't exactly have the take that you might think that I do on this one, but stay tuned for that when I eventually get around to it. It's hit popular zeitgeist. It's hit the mainstream that the people that are running Disney are kind of a big problem when it comes to all of this insufferable political babble that comes out of Disney, or that comes out of Hollywood, care of Disney. Yeah, they all have names and faces, and they're all responsible for this stuff. So if Disney doesn't write the course, they're going to be resigned to the dustbins of history like RKO Studios and several other precursors. You really would hate to see it, because a lot of people grew up with Disney, myself included, and to see it descend into whatever mangled mess that it is right now, it's not nice to look at, but it is sure as sky is blue and grass is green, funny as hell to laugh at. So with all that said, thank you all very much for the gift of your time. I've been Don Consuelo. I want you to follow your gut and get after it. Take care, everyone.